New York City, a metropolis synonymous with ambition and spectacle, found itself at the heart of a historic legal drama. The trial of former President Donald J. Trump had captivated the nation and divided public opinion. As the trial reached its climax, the city's energy crackled with anticipation. The outcome of this legal battle held immense weight, potentially reshaping the political landscape and the course of justice in America. The very foundations of American democracy seemed to hang in the balance. The trial delved into questions of power, accountability, and the rule of law. Could a former president be held accountable for actions taken while in office? The world watched with bated breath as two narratives battled for dominance inside the hallowed halls of the courtroom.
The weight of expectation pressed heavily on the prosecution as they delivered their closing arguments. They faced the daunting task of weaving together a complex web of evidence, testimony, and legal arguments into a cohesive narrative. Their goal, to convince the jury, beyond a reasonable doubt, that Donald Trump was guilty of the charges against him. The prosecution's strategy rested on presenting a clear and compelling case, devoid of unnecessary flourishes or emotional appeals. They meticulously laid out the facts, emphasizing the gravity of the accusations leveled against the former president. Their measured tone and methodical approach aimed to underscore the seriousness of the charges and the importance of upholding the law, regardless of an individual's stature. The evidence, the lead prosecutor stated emphatically, speaks for itself. They argued that Trump's actions were a blatant abuse of power, a betrayal of the public trust he had sworn to uphold. They painted a picture of a man driven by self-interest, willing to exploit his position for personal gain, even at the expense of the nation he once led. The prosecution reminded the jury of the solemn oath they had taken at the trial's outset, to weigh the evidence impartially, and to deliver a verdict based solely on the facts presented. They urged the jury to look beyond the political noise and the media frenzy, to focus on the evidence before them and to hold Donald Trump accountable for his actions. The fate of the nation, they argued, rested in their hands.
The defense team faced a formidable challenge in countering the prosecution's meticulously crafted narrative. Their strategy, however, took a decidedly different tack. Rather than engaging in a point-by-point rebuttal of the evidence, they sought to undermine the prosecution's case by portraying it as a politically motivated attack, a desperate attempt to tarnish the legacy of a former president. With unwavering conviction, Trump's lead defense attorney launched into a spirited defense of their client. They painted a picture of a man unfairly targeted by his political opponents, victims of a relentless campaign to silence his voice and discredit his accomplishments. The courtroom buzzed with anticipation as the defense sought to dismantle the prosecution's case piece by piece. This trial, the defense attorney boomed, is nothing more than a witch hunt. They argued that the charges against Trump were baseless, fueled by political animosity and a desire to prevent him from seeking higher office again. Their words resonated with a segment of the population who viewed the trial as a politically motivated attack. The defense team skillfully employed rhetoric and emotional appeals to sway the jury's opinion. They reminded the jury of Trump's accomplishments during his presidency, his unwavering commitment to his supporters, and his status as a political outsider who challenged the established order. Their goal was to plant seeds of doubt in the minds of the jurors, to make them question the motives of the prosecution and the validity of the case against their client.
Inside the courtroom, the atmosphere crackled with tension. The weight of the moment was palpable as the legal teams delivered their closing arguments. The jurors, the arbiters of justice in this high-stakes drama, listened intently, their faces etched with concentration as they absorbed the closing arguments. Every word, every gesture, every piece of evidence carried immense weight, shaping their perception of the case and influencing their ultimate verdict.
The eyes of the nation, indeed of the world, were fixed on this courtroom. Journalists and reporters from every major news outlet crammed into the gallery, eager to document every twist and turn of the trial. The public followed the proceedings with bated breath, glued to their television screens, their smartphones, and their radios. The trial had become a national obsession, a daily drama unfolding in real time.
The tension extended beyond the confines of the courtroom, spilling out into the streets of New York City. Protesters gathered outside the courthouse, their chants and slogans reflecting the deep divisions within American society. Supporters of Donald Trump waved banners proclaiming his innocence, while his detractors demanded accountability for what they perceived as his transgressions. The trial had become a lightning rod for the nation's political and social anxieties. As the closing arguments drew to a close, the judge prepared to deliver instructions to the jury, guiding them through the deliberations that would determine Donald Trump's fate. The jurors, tasked with the momentous responsibility of reaching a verdict, would soon retreat to the seclusion of the jury room, their decision carrying profound implications for the future of American democracy.